Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk to you about chick flicks. Yes, chick flicks. I know a lot of men, just men, we like to deny that we hate chick flicks. But honestly, every guy at least likes one chick flick. Because chick flicks are good movies. Well, some of them are. Well, a few of them are, but yeah. There's a lot of shitty chick flick movies, and most of the time I hate them. But there are a lot of great chick flicks. And okay, there's a few rules to what a chick flick is. Not every romance movie is a chick flick. Chick flicks are mostly movies that mostly women like. Mostly that consists of, like, romantic comedies or like teen comedies. Mostly consists of mostly high school girls, or mostly about love, but not like love like Casablanca or Gone with the Wind. Love like Big Fat Greek Wedding, that kind of stuff. Like, that is chick flick. So yeah, I thought I'd do a fun list. I thought I'd do a top 10 of my favorite chick flicks. Yes, because I actually like a few chick flicks. Like I said, there's a lot of shitty ones. A lot of shitty ones. But there's a lot I liked, and I thought, you know what, let's show my feminine side, because I got one. A little bit. Yeah, I got one. I got one, believe me. So yeah, here is my top 10 favorite chick flicks. And honestly, before I get to a top 10, my honorable mentions. And honestly, I had a lot of honorable mentions. And here they all are. These are the ones that almost made my list. And those movies are My Big Fat Greek Wedding, A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Friends with Benefits, 500 Days of Summer, Pretty Woman, Pretty in Pink, and The Devil Wears Prada. Yeah, I actually like all those movies. All great films. I actually find these, yeah, there's actually 10 more chick flicks that I like more. Believe it. And my number 10 is Bridget Jones's Diary. I actually really enjoy this movie. I don't like Renee Zellweger. I don't think she's a fantastic actress. She's fine in Jerry Maguire. She's fine in Cold Mountain. But she shines in Bridget Jones's Diary. The first one. I hate the second one. The second one is just terrible. But the first one is awesome. It's really good. It's got a lot of British wit. And it's got some great actors like Hugh Grant, of course Hugh Grant, and you got Colin Firth and Renee Zellweger. And they're all great in this movie. And Renee Zellweger is very, very good. She's very charming, and I heard there was a lot of controversy with Renee Zellweger playing Bridget Jones. Because they didn't think, oh, Renee Zellweger? She can't do it. But she actually turned out to be a very likable and very charming lead character, and I really, really liked her in this movie. And I bought the romance between her and Hugh Grant, and even a little bit with her and Colin Firth, but that doesn't happen until like a third act of the movie. But she was the star, she made this movie. Yes, there's some cliches in this movie that are annoying, but that's it. It's a chick flick. It's got the fucking cliches, but this movie is very good, mostly because Renee Zellweger is so good in this movie. Like I said, I'm not a big Renee Zellweger fan, but she shines in this movie, and I actually enjoyed Bridget Jones's Diary. It's one of my favorite chick flicks. Coming in at number 9, we're going with a classic, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey Hepburn. She's great. I don't want to go into too much detail because I think every woman has seen this. This is like the woman Bible, almost like The Notebook, but The Notebook sucks, and this movie's awesome. But yeah, I love Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's actually, I can't believe this is actually classified as a chick flick, and it's shocking that it is, because, yeah, I always say this movie to dudes, like, oh, have you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's? And they always go, no. Honestly, this movie is great. Like, I think a lot of guys should watch this movie because it's actually a very funny movie. It's a very classy kind of movie, too. And, yeah, I really liked Audrey Hepburn in this movie. And she's a knockout in this movie, too. I love Breakfast at Tiffany's. Coming at number 8 is Love Actually. This was, like, the first romantic comedy to actually put a bunch of big star actors and put them all in a movie together and have a bunch of different stories that all connect. Yeah. He's just not that into you. Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, all those movies stole the idea from this one, and all three of those movies suck ass. But Love Actually is a great movie. It's a great movie for couples to watch, and it's a great movie to watch during Christmas, because it's a Christmas movie too. And I adore this movie. Oh my god. The actors in this movie are all good. Like, you got Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson, Colin Firth, Bill Nye. Bill Nye steals this movie. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. If you see this movie, you would get that. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. Some stories aren't as good as other ones, but I enjoyed most of the stories. I believed a lot of this romance, and I loved these characters. This is mostly because the writing was really strong, and Richard Curtis, who directed this movie, he knows how to direct a good chick flick. yeah, he's not like a shitty hack of a director. He knows what he's doing, and he did a hell of a job with this movie. I love Love Actually. I love watching it during Christmas, and anytime if I have a girlfriend, I love to watch it with her. And this is a fun movie. It's funny, and it's actually a rated R comedy. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. And a fun fact: Martin Freeman is a small role. Yes, Bilbo Baggins / Dr. Watson is a small role in this movie. His small role is very, very funny. I won't spoil what he is in this movie, but it's very, very funny. Check this movie out. Guys and girls, check this movie out. It's a great movie, great rom-com, and a great chick flick. Number 7 is Terms of Endearment. I've talked about this movie. Well, I've mentioned this movie in a few videos, but I adore this movie. This movie is sappy as shit, but honestly, it gets to me every single time I watch it. This movie is fantastic. Jack Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine steal this movie. They both got their Oscars for it, and it was so well deserved. It's fantastic. And the way that this movie tells you about a mother and her daughter has cancer and all the struggles they have to go through, it's just so heartbreaking, and at times it's a little hard to watch, and it's very sad, but it's so moving and so well directed and so well written. You have to give this movie a chance. And yeah, I guarantee you, if you put this on with a bunch of ladies, they'll all be snapping with the tissues and everything. And honestly, I might even join them, because I get a little teary-eyed watching this, because it's sad. It's really sad. Everyone knows Terms of Endearment is a sad freaking movie, but I love this movie. It's a great movie. It's a great movie to watch with your loved ones and your whole family, because it's a great film. It's got a good rating, and Jack Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine kill it in this movie. Love Terms of Endearment. Watch this instead of like Beaches or something. That movie sucks. Terms of Endearment's awesome. Coming in number 6 is Crazy Stupid Love. This is actually a sort of recent kind of romantic comedy, but this movie is a very clever romantic comedy. Again, I don't like a lot of romantic comedies, but this movie is just so well acted. It's so freaking funny. I adored this movie. I went to go see this movie with my mom and my twin sister, and I was getting ready to hate this movie. I'm like, oh my god, this movie has Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling just did the movie Drive. Now I have to watch him ruin it with this fucking movie. But I left this movie, and I adored the shit out of this movie. This movie was fantastic. It's one of the best rom-coms I've ever watched, and it's one of the best chick flicks out there. This movie is great. Of a smart, sophisticated comedy, because the characters are just so well written, and they just feel like real people, and you just love seeing what they all go through. And yeah, this movie is actually strong on its bromance instead of the romance. Yes, there's a romance, Steve Carell and Julianne Moore, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, but the bromance between Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling was very good. Their chemistry was so good, and I actually bought their friendship, and I loved seeing Ryan Gosling teach Steve Carell actually how to pick up women. It was very funny. I loved watching them two in this movie, and honestly, I adore this movie. I adore it so much that I actually have the Blu-ray. Yep, see, I got the Blu-ray of Crazy Stupid Love, and I'm not ashamed to have the Blu-ray, because it's a good movie, and I love watching this movie. I watch this movie at least once a year, maybe twice a year. It's a great movie. I show a lot of people, even my buddies, they love this movie. They even think, hey, Crazy Stupid Love is a good movie, because it is good. It's got some solid actors. Come on, it's got Kevin Bacon. Fucking Footloose is in this movie. And yeah, I adore this movie. Give Crazy Stupid Love a watch. If you have not seen it, watch it. Especially if you're a woman. You'll adore this movie. Coming in number 5 is another movie I've mentioned before in other videos, and a movie that I quote a lot. Mean Girls. Yeah, Mean Girls. Self-fetch. Oh my god, Danny DeVito, I love your work. Yeah, I know a lot of lines in this movie, and honestly, out of probably every movie out of this list, I've seen this movie the most. I've seen this movie like over 28 times. I'm probably in the low 30s. I've seen this movie. I loved this movie when I was a teenager. Mostly because I had the hots for Rachel McAdams. Like, I just did my hottest girls list. I had the biggest hots for Regina George's character, played by Rachel McAdams. I always thought she was very attractive. I was even attracted to Lindsay Lohan. I'm like, come on, this is a bunch of very hot girls, like bitchy.